Welcome back to the Fix Ops Roundtable. My name is Stephen Hackbarth. Today I'm joined with Isabella Stevens. And Isabella, we have a star-studded panel here at in Sacramento, California at the Niello company, where we're talking about what makes leaders great. So we have an excellent panel of young leaders and rising professionals. And let's go down the line and introduce ourselves and let's get started.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Cobi Collins. I'm with GoTrago. We are workforce strategists built in and for the auto industry, and we help you field your A team and identify leadership before you need it.
I'm Ron Thomas, General Sales Manager at Land Rover in Rockland.
I'm Taylor Howard, General Sales Manager at Niello Volvo in Sacramento.
David Spisak, I'm a Scorpio. Favorite movies? The Notebook. Kitty. David Spisak Show, and Disruptive Growth Solutions, an old car guy.
I am Andrey. I am the General Sales Manager for this beautiful location, Porsche Sacramento.
Hello, everybody. John McManus, Sales Manager here at Porsche Sacramento.
Incredible. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Yes, and to start us off, if you were a dealer principal or general manager walking into a dealership tomorrow, what's the first operational process you would evaluate to improve the overall customer experience and efficiency within the store?
So it's just based, you want to fire up here?
Yeah, go for
All
it.
right, so, here's Niello Company. Thanks to great Holly Williams and his beautiful website that he's built for us. There's no shortage of data, so I'm not sure that there is one process that I would necessarily dive into immediately. I would scrutinize all the data, find the weak points, and go from there.
Yeah, for me, it's I'm more of I sit back, I observe, and I kind of see how things are working and operating. I don't want to change anything too fast, but I'll look at the feedback from the managers to the the salespeople to the finance managers, and so forth, and then develop the procedures that we can manage and lead through that.
For me, it's probably a little bit different direction, but I'm looking for intentionality. I'm looking for energy. I'm looking for focus, purpose. And if you think about it, if you walk into any organization and you have intentionality and you have those things, you could tell it's an organization that is built on a culture of accountability, and it's an organization that is very process driven. People do much better when they know what's expected. And for managers, it's much easier to get the most you can out of your organization when you have one process that you're managing across organization instead of, for example, 15 salespeople, 15 different processes.
Very different.
Yeah, when you work in an industry like ours, especially in a company like ours, we believe that people matter, right? And how we communicate with people. So I think the most important thing for me, and it has been for a while, is how we communicate with our customers. That is probably our most important process. How we communicate with one another, and ultimately how we serve our customers at the highest level. I think that is probably the most important thing, and easy to track because everything's done through one place. And people like us on management level, we have the ability to be able to dive in and be able to see and have quality control and to inspect what we actually all expect.
Yeah, I think a process that is ultimately crucial for not just the store, but for the consumer as well, as our used car recon process. With that, you have the ultimate amount of crossover between fixed and variable. So it's gonna rely on an extra level of communication to be compatible there, to be efficient there, to make sure that we're taking a product that we now have and that we want to market to the consumer in an effective, efficient way.
Incredible. Cobi, what is your perspective on that coming from GoTrago?
So as we look at people, it's so critical. You all know you have systems problems, you have people problems, and you have to find solutions to them. And it's so critical that we don't just look at our athletes in sales, that we don't just look at, you're talking about customer retention and a customer experience. We have to identify the folks who are looking at the business as a whole. And so how do you do that along with data? You have data on the cars, you have data on inventory, you have data on client needs. But then how do we look at that from a people perspective? Do we have data on who's actually leadership material, who's moving up into the ranks that you all hold? And can we identify those early on so that our processes stay in place and that they are consistent across the board? Because you know that when a customer has a great experience, you can build a customer for life.
Incredible. I love that, Cobi. And many operational challenges aren't caused by a lack of effort. They're more likely caused by a lack of visibility and coordination within the dealership. What best practices help dealerships create smoother workflows and better accountability across their entire teams? Do you want to start us off?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's really going to come down to a term that's commonly used at this store and at our group, and that's inspecting what you expect, right? So it comes down to a GM that is getting involved multiple times a day with each department, figuring out what they're working on, what they need help on, and then circling back around a few hours later to be able to hold them accountable and make sure that they're working towards that goal that they have.
Yeah, this is actually a topic that my general manager and I talk about all the time, and it's primarily delegation. Is having specific people in place that can oversee specific a target that you're looking for, and then holding them accountable for them to ultimately trickle down. And it comes down from the top up. So I can't expect my sales manager to do something I'm not doing myself. So it's definitely I think that's extremely important, just to be able to delegate specific roles and specific things that you want your people to do, and then holding them accountable. And that kind of trickles down.
Of course. David, you're well versed in best practices. What is your perspective on this?
I hate the term best practice. That's how well versed I am. It's a great question, Isabella. It is a fair question, but I think we've kind of gotten fooled in this industry and many businesses by the term best practices. And if you think about it, best practices, there's a couple of challenges with them. They always come from inside the industry. There's rarely disruption from inside of an industry. Most disruption always happens outside of an industry. You're touching base on that. I want to hear from people that are in my organization that maybe are the newest people in my organization. They'll see things I don't see after wandering these floors for decades, right? So that's one thing. The second thing is best practices, which that term oftentimes we hear it in 20 groups. But if you watch, every store in the 20 group is using best practices, and some of them are on that side of the page or the bottom, and some of them are on the top. So best practices, there's so many variabilities in dealerships, Isabella, that it's really difficult to find a one size fits all. And so I think that it still comes down to leadership. It still comes down to mentoring. It still comes down to leading from the front, as you guys were saying, right? It still comes down to processes and process execution. I do something, try this. I give somebody who doesn't believe in this, I take a Post-it, $100 bill, and a Starbucks gift card. And I'll say, here's a Starbucks gift card for $25. Go down to Starbucks, go buy yourself a coffee. You've been working hard, get a pastry, whatever. I want you just to look around. Take the Post-it note. If you could find anything the size of this Post-it note that doesn't have a process attached to it, please write it down, bring it back, and just take the $100 off my desk. That $100 is going to be on this earth longer than I am going to be on this earth. Because everything at great organizations is rooted in process. Amazon, Apple, Google, anything that you see out there that's a legendary organization, Niello, you're going to have processes that help drive people towards your expectation.
Okay. That's incredible. And quick lightning round. Just say one habit that you've seen in the most successful dealerships that you could implement within your organization today. Just one habit.
What we see with all of our clients, it's really critical, is the ability to scale through mentorship. You've got to identify mentor abilities. Yeah.
That one. I would say teamwork.
Teamwork.
Yeah, for me, it's constant feedback from the leadership group. More often than not, you get, monthly evaluations, and, not a lot is retained in those evaluations. It's more better retained in, constant feedback.
For me, it's disruption. It's the ability to have the guts to disrupt yourself. The old saying, if it's not broken, you don't need to fix it. Well, if it's not broken, it's maybe average or below average. Great. So better for you to disrupt yourself rather than having a competitor disrupt you. And it takes guts to do that.
I think kind of on the same topic is just cohesion with the team. Make sure everybody has the same goal. Make sure everybody has the same vision, and leadership from the front. Making sure that your leaders are actually the ones that are driving not just traffic but energy and whatever target you're trying to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's accountability through ownership and what you take pride in, and what your job requires you to do. And I think when you have that at the forefront of your mind, you're going to work harder towards that ultimate goal that everybody needs to be successful.
Incredible. Well, thank you guys so much for your time today and for this powerful conversation on leadership. Again, Isabella Stevens and Stephen Hackbarth here at the Niello Company in Sacramento, California, and we'll be right back.